Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Leadership TV, it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's edition of Money Radio, and you are on to the National Economy segment of the program. It's a unique one today, as it's going to be henceforth, and that is to review national economy, one of the growing papers in the country, especially on economic and finance matters. In the studio to discuss some of the stories is Kingsley Alu. Kingsley Alu is the editor of National Economy. Kingsley, you're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good
afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, I trust the weekend was good.
It was. And yours?
Yeah, it was good. Thanks. Great. So, we're looking at the cover of National Economy, and we'd like to review some of the stories in that paper. We would like to see the cover of National Economy. Of National Economy. Well, Kingsley, this is one of your few visits to this studio to start with. Yeah, I can see that. Well, going forth is going to be a normal thing. We're going to, because we're here to serve the public, and in service of the public, we show them what we are serving them with.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and so we're looking at national economy today. Yes. Nigeria's electricity woes continue as value chain disconnect pervades the sector. Nigeria's electricity woes continue as value chain disconnect pervades the sector. That's bad news for Nigerians.
Yes, of course.
And we'll talk about the disconnect. The electricity woes will continue. First of all, let's give a little background to this story. Over the past, should I say, several weeks now, with the exception of that week when NEPA went on strike, over the past several weeks, there have been an improvement in power. It depends on where you are largely, but let's say generally there have been some improvement in the power supply in the country. At least we are somewhere around 5,000 megawatts right now. But the story on National Economy says today that the electricity woes will continue as value chain disconnect pervades the sector. What are we saying there?
What we're trying to say here is that I don't think there's any end in sight now. What we're seeing now may be temporary, maybe because of the rainfall, the dams are full, it's hydro generated. So we are bound to have light. But I think it's a temporary thing because there are major issues here that government must necessarily attend to if it is serious about fixing this issue of power challenge. It has to do with the grid collapse. When you check in the last 12 years or thereabout, there was a report that even said we've had 222 national grid collapse in the country. And at the end of the day, it still boils down to what we've been saying before. We don't want any makeshift arrangement because it has never really served anybody. At the end of the day, it affects a lot of things, a lot of economic disruptions here and there. So what he's telling us is that until they're able to look at the major challenge, which is fixing this grid, whatever is the problem, tackling it, that until then, there's no end in sight to this problem. Every other thing we may see may be okay. Election is just by the corner. So it's a natural thing for government to want to also impress the people. But it's temporary.
Well, let's look at it. You mentioned something about the rainy season. And of course, during the rainy season, we know that the dams give out, at least to some extent, good electricity.
Yes.
Because it's optimal running. It's running optimally.
Yes.
Even if it's up to 80%, it runs. That is something. But at the moment, there is a mix of electricity generation.
Yes.
The mix includes hydro. It includes the gas turbines, and then it includes also um, uh, the solar. But then we know that well, let's not mention this one because it's not. We're talking about the national grid right now.
Yes.
So let's not mention our individual power generation at home.
Yes.
Yes, but we're talking majorly about the national grid. So that mix, about 80% comes from gas turbines, from the and that is gas turbine, gas
Fire.
powered,
Yes.
turbines,
Yes.
and just about 20% or a little more than 20% comes from
Hydro.
hydro.
Yes.
So that tells us that there was an agreement, and that MOU, which was chaired by NEC and some other power.
That's the National Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Exactly, and some other stakeholders. They decided that before now, there has been this situation where you have the generating companies generating the power, the transmission company transmitting what they can, and then the distribution company will say, we can't get it from this point,
Yes.
or we can't get it from that point. And then power transmission company, which is government, will say, no, we are giving it to you. This other people will say, we can't get it. And power cannot be stored. It's wasted.
Yes.
So there was an agreement at a time just before around June, when Nigeria was facing its worst power supply situation. Around June, there was an MOU that said that by July this thing will be over because they would have put their acts together, and people, the different stakeholders were brought under compulsion that if this amount is generated and this one is transmitted, it must be taken by the distribution companies. That partially explains why we have electricity to the extent that we have it, apart from the hydro powered electricity or the hydro
Yes, from the dams.
From the dams. So with that in mind, is it not to some extent, if we have 5,000 megawatts and the dams are producing just about 20%,
Yes.
at least we are guaranteed 4,000 megawatts.
Yeah, but the problem is for how long?
That is the question.
That's
How long?
For how long? That is even where the issue is. It's for how long? You understand? This thing happens, it's seasonal. It's not all the time we have it so rosy like this. It's seasonal. When it comes, it goes. It comes, it goes. But it's for the policy makers to enforce whatever agreement they had with all these key stakeholders, especially the distribution companies, because Gencos at the moment have told us before that they don't have problems with even generating this power. In fact, they have even told the public that they can generate 13,000 megawatts. Transmission company of Nigeria, they also telling you they don't have problem transmitting. It still boils down to the discos. Now, I don't know whatever agreement government had with the discos. By the time PFCN was collapsed, it's a bit skewed, It's not spread, it's not detailed. It didn't capture the necessities that are supposed to be captured in the power equation. So until they go back to the drawing board, revisit the issue of this grid. Because some time ago, there were reports that because we don't have backup, our grid system here don't have any backups, no backups. So once this one has problem, there's a problem, everything will collapse. Everybody will be in darkness. Then they will, as usual, do a quick fix. And then at the end of the day, maybe in the next 2 days, we will get to hear also there's another grid collapse. So until we get to the point where we have to go and address this issue squarely, I don't think we are anytime soon getting out of the woods.
Now let's look at other stories in national economy.
Yeah.
What do you have for us?
Yeah, also we're looking at excessive bank charges.
All right.
Yes, the excessive bank charges. I'm sure that anyone that's anybody in this country can tell us what they are passing through every day in the hands of these banks. Just last year, there was this report for 2021 that from just electronic banking charges, banks made about 10 banks made about 296.87 billion. And then also another one for even account maintenance, they made about 950.5 billion. So if you're a customer and you are saving money with banks, in the real sense of the word, you're not saving anything. They are making you and they are making you dry. And it's not to even say that their interest on loan is not friendly at all. So you leave your money with them, they do business with your money, they still punish you by excessive charges, and there's nothing you can do about it. The regulator, I don't know what CBN is doing about it, but then it's not really friendly. And Nigerians, especially at this point in time, are not finding it comfortable.
Yes, you make a point because the traditional role of a bank or the traditional uh, operations of a bank supposed to be, of course, when you say you save with them, like you said,
Yes.
you are saving your money with them. They use that money to do business, and they are naturally supposed to pay you interest based on the business or the profits they do. There is something new about banking nowadays, and that is cost of transaction. It seems like the banks are making a lot from cost of transaction.
Yes.
It's like because the economy is not so good, they're not making so much money from what they invest in, but they are making much money from cost of transactions. And those cost of transactions is like they seem to have actually seen that as some kind of vault. Yes, some gold mine that they can just milk people of their
It
money.
is. It
Yes.
is.
And that is why a reason why we see that as bad as the economy is right now, banks are still giving out. They are still servicing their shareholders.
Shareholders very, very well. And funny enough, some time ago the CBN governor complained that banks are actually the ones, frustrating the takeoff of this e-naira.
How?
Because normally if you download the e-naira wallet, you can transact with it. You can do a lot of things with it. Or some of those charges, or cost free.
Okay.
So in that regard, you discover that if people or bank customers are encouraged to really go online, download this app, and begin to at least put it to good use, it will save a lot of costs on the part of the customers. We're not talking about the money the bank put in the banks and other maybe whatever maintenance charges that may crop up. But I think at the end of the day, CBN should really come up with something that will serve both interests, not just the banks, the customers. If you're a businessman, you leave your money with banks, and you expect at least at the end of the day some interest to accrue on them. And how much interest do you even get on those things? And then look at the cost. For instance, now go and just deposit ordinary 50,000 in the bank. Before 2 weeks, you may be left with about 32,000 or 33,000 because charges just keep coming. They will be doing it.
Some of these charges, don't they come from the federal government in the form of taxes? Because I know that I have this current account, which I have stopped using. If I were to drop like 5,000 naira in that account now, give it 1 month, it's wiped out. Even if I don't go to do any transaction, because every weekend I will see stamp duties, this duty, that duty, that charge, that levy, and all of that money will finish within 1 week. That's why I have abandoned that account. However, is the federal government not benefiting from these charges also in the name of, for example, stamp duty? Who takes the stamp duty?
It should be government.
Are they not part of it?
They are part of it, but then the stamp duty doesn't take the large chunk of the whole charges now.
If it's 15 naira per weekend or 100 naira per weekend, that's much,
No, that is much. I'm not saying it's not much, but what I'm saying is that when you consider there are some people that are just merely managing to survive, and then the little they drop in the bank, and at the end of the day, they are wiped off. this is where it gets so worrisome, and this is where I think the CBN should start looking into. It doesn't make sense. Okay, fine. All these fintech companies are coming up. We have something like this Bank of the Free, they call Kuda, and some other ones like that are also coming up now. So people are now encouraged to come on, bank with us, put your money here. It is safe, it's secured. Do you understand me? And most of these new companies now coming on board also register with NDIC. So they tell you also your money is secure, your money is safe. But then there need to be a lot of sensitization on those things, because if, for instance, on the part of the bank, they will tell you operation costs. They will mention all manner of costs and all manner of things. In fact, they even tell you right now, they're even trying to lay off some staff and all the rest of them because of the cost of maintenance and all those. So invariably, they also transferring some part of the charges on the customers. So if there may be a kind of sensitization where also customers are encouraged, maybe you try some of these other fintech companies that are coming up, to also service the financial services sector.
Right. Well said. What else do you have in national?
Maybe we can also talk about the death of the Queen.
Yes, give us some education on the death of the Queen.
Oh, well, all of us, we know how she passed, and it was unexpected.
If you say unexpected, I have.
No, I think it was unexpected. Nobody expected it, because you remember on a Monday.
She was.
She hosted the new UK Prime Minister. She was looking hale and hearty. Yeah. There were no indications that maybe in the next 3 days or thereabout, the woman will be no more. Nobody anticipated what was coming, and it just did come, and it happened, and everybody took it. But the issue is that we're looking at also how it will impact the UK's economy,
which will invariably impact the Nigerian economy also.
But in terms of the currency, they will change. Of course, the currency will be changed now.
Yeah,
because
the UK currency.
Yes, because
Okay, you're talking about the picture.
Yes, the picture. Because it has always had this Queen Elizabeth, this, and then of course the stamp. Right. A lot of things will come into play now, but there's going to be a little bit of a hole, in that sphere.
Yeah.
And it's going to also, affect cost to some extent. But at the end of the day, I think it's good that King Charles now has, been, he's taking over. Mm-hmm. I think it was on Saturday. Yes. So officially, he's now known as King Charles III and all the rest of them. So let's see how it plays out in the course of the week.
The woman was about the longest serving.
Complete 70 years on the throne.
Funny enough, she was in Africa when she was in Kenya.
Yes.
When the former queen,
yes,
the former late queen.
Yes.
The late former queen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But died, and she was in Kenya when the news broke up that she had to come and assume that position. Not really. Somebody abdicated.
That was the grandfather. Yes. She wasn't really destined from day one to become queen. They just fate, as usual. Fate happened.
Yes.
But I think before she died, there were some issues she was trying to contend with, and it's left for Prince Charles now to see how he can manage them.
Yeah, let's get
the issue of some of these Commonwealth, member states now. They don't want to be. They don't want the issue of all these queen or this head of state, the monarchy as head of state of their respective, climes now. Like sometime in February, March, or thereabouts, Barbados started it. Mm-hmm. Barbados became a republic.
Okay.
And that Prince Charles came to Barbados at that time because they said we don't want to longer be under the jurisdiction of this UK and all the rest of them, the monarchy. So today Barbados and Jamaica is also noising the same thing now.
I wonder what benefits are there when these people extricate themselves from the monarchy or from the crown.
Yeah, largely we are told it's largely a ceremonial something, but I don't think it's that ceremonial because the crown also has some degree of influence on these members.
How their governments are run.
How governments are run and all the rest of them, decisions they take and all those kind of issues. So,
I think because when you talk about the crown, I think there's Commonwealth of Nations. I think there are some benefits, economic benefits to it. So when these governments just decide to free themselves, I don't know if it's just the name or there is something that that is holding them back, or there is something that is having an impact on their national image. I don't know what it is, but
no, because they believe that you are not truly independent until you are free from the monarchy.
Well, let's look at it.
Yes.
That's how we want to end it today. Kingsley, it's been a long time you've been in the studio. And, I would like to welcome you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thanks for coming.
Yes.
Thanks to our producers. Thanks to you who follow us loyally on this program. All of you, our viewers. It's been nice having you. We'll be back tomorrow with a fresh edition of Morning Radio, and that will be the Agri and Industry segment of the program. Until then, have a great day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-61.